When you think of Venezuela, what comes to mind? Maybe newspaper, headlines about political or economic crises. But Venezuela is much more than that. It is a country of geographic extremes, of natural beauties that look like they are from another planet, and of facts that defy logic. Today, we are going to leave politics aside and dive into the real and mind-blowing curiosities of this South American nation. Get ready! Your view of this country is about to change. Venezuela is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. It is situated in a privileged position in northern South America. It has a Caribbean coast, Andean mountains, vast plains, and Amazon jungle, all in one country. It is as if 4 continents were compressed into a territory slightly larger than 2 Spains. Let's start at the top. Literally. Venezuela is home to the world's highest waterfall, Angel Falls. It is 979 meters high. That is almost a kilometer of vertical drop. To give you some perspective, it is about 15 times higher than Niagara Falls and 3 times the height of the Eiffel Tower. The water falls from such a height that, in drier seasons, it turns into mist before even hitting the ground. But the most curious thing about Angel Falls is not just the height. It's where it falls from. It plummets from the top of an Auyan Tepuy. Tepuy are flat-topped mountains with gigantic vertical walls that rise dramatically from the jungle. They are considered some of the oldest geological formations on Earth, dating back to billion years. Tepuy are so isolated that they function as ecological islands in the sky. On top of these flat mountains, flora and fauna evolved completely isolated from the rest of the world for millennia. Scientists have discovered that about 1/3 of the plant species found on top of certain tepuy exist nowhere else on the planet. It is a real-life lost world. And speaking of strange, natural phenomena, if you are afraid of thunderstorms, there is a place in Venezuela you should avoid. This location holds the Guinness World Record for the highest concentration of lightning on Earth. It is known as the Catatumbo lightning. Imagine an electrical storm that almost never ends. In Catatumbo, lightning occurs for about 160 nights a year, lasting up to 10 hours per night, and at a rate of up to 280 lightning flashes per hour. It is a natural light show so intense that it was used for centuries by sailors as a natural lighthouse for navigation. Let's change the scenery from mountains and lightning to water. Venezuela has the longest coastline on the Caribbean Sea. There are more than 2,800 kilometers of tropical beaches. This includes one of world de los Roques Archipelago. Los Roques is a set of more than 300 islands and islets of white sand protected by coral reefs. It is often compared to the Maldives or French Polynesia for the incredible color of the water. But it is right here, in South America. It is a protected national park, which means it has no large concrete hotels to spoil the landscape. Now, let's talk about something we cannot ignore about Venezuela: oil. This country doesn't just have a lot of oil. It has the largest proven oil reserves in the entire world. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than the United States. Beneath Venezuelan soil, there are more than 300 billion barrels of oil waiting. This geological wealth shaped the entire modern history of the country. For decades, Venezuela was the richest nation in South America. Oil money financed modern cities and impressive infrastructure in the 70s and 80s. This abundance of oil led to one of the strangest economic curiosities in the world. For many years, Venezuela had the cheapest gasoline on the planet. It was practically free, and for a long time, filling a car tank cost less than buying a small bottle of mineral water. People gave tips to gas station attendants that were worth more than the fuel itself. However, over-reliance on a single resource also brought problems. When oil prices fell globally, the economy suffered. This led to another world record, unfortunately less positive. Venezuela experienced one of the worst hyperinflations in modern history. Inflation reached such absurd levels that prices doubled every few weeks. Physical money, the bolivar, lost so much value that people started weighing bills instead of counting them. At certain times, it was cheaper to use cash bills as napkins or wallpaper than to buy the actual products. This economic crisis created surreal situations. For years, the country faced shortages of basic products, from toilet paper to medicines. People had to queue for hours just to try to buy essential goods. It is a sad paradox, a country sitting on the world's greatest energy wealth, but where the population struggled for the basics. Let's go back to nature, because Venezuela has incredible creatures. It is the home of the capybara, the largest rodent in the world. These animals look like giant hamsters and are extremely social. In the plains region, the llanos, you can see herds of hundreds of them living peacefully with other animals. And in the unexplored depths of Venezuela, new things are still being discovered. In 2009, scientists found a bizarre creature in the Grand Sabana region that the internet nicknamed the poodle moth, a white fluffy moth with large black eyes that looks like a stuffed animal or a real-life Pokemon. Moving on to culture and people, Venezuela has a peculiar national obsession: beauty pageants. The country is a world power in this field, having won Miss Universe 7 times and Miss World 6 times. Preparation for these contests is taken very seriously, with specialized schools training young girls from an early age. If football is the religion in most of South America, in Venezuela the king's sport is baseball. Influenced by its proximity to the Caribbean and the United States, Venezuela produces some of the best baseball players in the world, who shine in the American major leagues. And we cannot talk about Venezuela without talking about food. The national dish is the arepa. It is a round bread made of corn flour that is opened and stuffed with anything you can imagine: cheese, meat, beans, avocado. The arepa is food for lunch and dinner. It is the daily fuel of the Venezuelan people. The capital, Caracas, is a city of geographic contrasts. It is situated in a valley at about 900 meters altitude, but is separated from the sea by a massive mountain called a villa. This mountain acts as a green lung for the city and is a place of refuge for inhabitants on weekends. Another historical curiosity: the name Venezuela means Little Venice. When European explorers first arrived in the Lake Maracaibo region, they saw indigenous houses built on stilts on the water. This reminded them of the Italian city of Venice, and the name stuck. The country also has one of the best rum industries in the world, due to the perfect tropical climate for growing sugar cane and aging in oak barrels. Venezuelan rum has a protected designation of origin and is considered one of the most premium on the global market. Venezuela has its own version of the Bermuda Triangle. The Mapimi Silent Zone is a desert area where radio signals and communications fail mysteriously. Compasses become disoriented, and there are reports of strange phenomena and sightings of lights. Speaking of peculiar places, Venezuela once had the ice cream shop with the most flavors in the world. The Coromoto Ice Cream Shop in the city of Merida offered more than 860 flavors in the Guinness Book, including bizarre flavors like garlic, onion, mushrooms, and even meat or fish-based flavors. The country is also home to one of the most impressive caves in the world, the Cueva del Fantasma. It is so huge that 2 helicopters could fly inside comfortably side by side. It lies in a region so remote that it was officially discovered only in recent times. Venezuela has a mountain that serves as a triple border Mount Roraima, another giant tepui that marks the point where Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana meet. It is believed that this location and its vertical cliffs inspired Arthur Conan Doyle's book The Lost World and the landscapes of Pixar's movie Up. Merida cable car system is another record holder. It is the highest and the second longest cable car in the world. It takes visitors from the city of Merida up to Pico Espejo. At over 4,700 meters altitude in the Andes, the trip offers views ranging from tropical rainforest to snow-capped peaks in a matter of minutes. Despite recent difficulties, the Venezuelan people are known for their resilience and humor. There's a lo al mal tiempo, buena cara, which means that even in the worst situations, one must maintain a positive attitude and find reasons to smile. Venezuela is home to the Orinoco Delta, one of the largest river systems in South America. The Orinoco River splits into hundreds of channels before reaching the ocean, creating a labyrinth of swamps and forests where the Warao indigenous people live, whose name means boat people, as they live almost entirely on the water. This country is proof that nature can be simultaneously beautiful and terrifying. It is a place where you can be on a Caribbean beach in the morning and on an icy Andean mountain in the afternoon. It is a land of extreme contrasts, of unimaginable wealth underground, and complex challenges on the surface. Now, let's go back to a crucial point we mentioned earlier, the economic crisis that shook the country. This crisis created a very complex relationship for Venezuelans with basic foods that we take for granted. During the worst years of scarcity, simple items disappeared from the shelves. Imagine a tropical country, perfect for growing sugar cane, famous for its rums and sweet desserts, where suddenly refined sugar becomes a rare luxury item. During the crisis, the price of sugar skyrocketed so much that, for many families, sweetening a simple coffee became impossible. People had to relearn to live without the sweet taste they were used to, not by choice, but by absolute necessity. This shows how access to simple things can radically change the diet and health of an entire nation from one day to the next. And speaking of how our body reacts, when access to sugar changes completely, this reminds us of the challenge we discussed in our last video. There, we saw what happens when you decide to stop eating sugar voluntarily. If you are curious about the real effects on your brain and body when you cut this sweet habit for 30 days, you have to watch the video appearing on the screen now. The changes are as drastic as the landscapes of Venezuela. Click there and discover how to transform your health in just 30 days.